Hello, Braemar County and all of Iowa. This is Shawn and Emily coming to you for the second season of Deciding Iowa. Now on to our third short episode. I'm Dr. Shawn Illebrook, and I'm a cancer scientist, biochemistry professor, and House District 57 candidate.
And I'm Dr. Emily Bavers. I'm a physician, mom of 3, and a health advocate. So, Shawn, as you noted, I expect a lot of the legislative season to be taken up by divisive arguments about whether and how the state will properly fund core services like schools, transportation, and infrastructure in our rural state. But what else has come up so far?
Well, there's an interesting bill that we should mention maybe right off the bat. Samantha Fett has a bill, House File 2106, and from what I can gather, would prohibit schools from discriminating against or penalizing a public or charter school student for the political, religious, or ideological speech or viewpoints or clothes they wear. As with most of these recent types of bills, the language comes with civil litigation penalties for non-compliance. To the surprise of no one, there is a companion bill from Sandy Salmon in the Senate.
Of course there is.
Emily, I think Fett and Salmon's intent is to protect conservative religious views from being squashed by what they perceive to be morally corrupt public school liberal agenda. I don't like this bill, but if you think about it, they are supporting diversity of opinion, equity of voice, and making sure everyone is included.
That's amazing. Well, it's all pretty convoluted, and some of the same rules for thee, but not for me. I sure hope that a reckoning is coming where people start to push back on the erasure of civil and human rights in Iowa, and there are real problems to be solved. But representatives who have nothing positive to contribute besides these kind of convoluted DEI bills for their own special interests really need to be voted out.
You know, the litigation part of this is especially awful. Another example of subjective wrongdoing that could be abused and lead to huge money and time issues for everyone involved. I wonder where Fett and Sandy get the inspiration for all these bills. You know, they practically write themselves. In case you don't recall, Sandy doesn't like public libraries, public education, and we saw at the end of last year with a resolution to disallow same-sex marriage in Iowa, gay is bad. Shame on you. Fett, bless her heart, is never done. She also introduced House File 2078. This bill would give a $4,000 tax credit to parents or guardians for not sending their kids to school. The deal of this bill is that it comes with a list of exemptions that leaves qualified Iowans for this tax credit as effectively only parents or guardians of homeschool kids.
You know, public schools are a good provided by the government in order to educate the youth of the state and sustain our workforce and economy. Iowa used to be among the best public education in the country. In none of the bills introduced so far do we tackle what needs to be done to preserve and ideally to strengthen our public education. Those who choose to homeschool don't get a refund. That's just not how this works. Public goods are paid for because an educated state benefits us all in the long term.
Well
For
said.
Pete's sake, let's work together to make Iowa financially, economically, and educationally strong again. Shawn, tell me something good. Tell me something good that happened this week.
Well, Senate File 6388 has been reintroduced in 2026 and has a companion bill, House File 2011. Now, these two bills would tax and regulate alternative nicotine products, including e-cigarettes, and would create a fund for cancer research in Iowa with the associated revenue.
Good.
Yeah, it's a great bill. Another bill, House File 2057, would provide a standing appropriations of $1 per Iowa resident, and that's up to $3 million per year for pediatric cancer research, both bench and clinic, at the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics.
Good.
Yeah. What about you, Em? Anything you're glad to see?
Well, honestly, there have already been a ton of bills introduced, and I'm looking forward to seeing which of these actually advance. But one interesting bill was Senate File 2019, which strengthened protections for invasion of privacy, particularly around sexual abuse and taking of videos without people's knowledge. It has additional protections for minors. I see this as being really positive legislation, especially when you consider the increasing prevalence of technology and social media with minors and in schools. From a health perspective, I'm really glad to see Senate File 2013, which would add kratom to the controlled substances list. Now, kratom has been available in drinks and candies and gas stations and stores without proper warnings, but this is really a dangerous drug. It acts as both a stimulant at a low dose, so like coffee, and a sedative at high doses, like narcotics. And so it's highly addictive, and it's a major problem in Iowa. This is a bill that is designed to protect Iowans from health harms of an unregulated medication, and it's really a no-brainer to add protections against kratom. And finally, I'd be remiss to not mention, from a reproductive health perspective, I was sure glad to see that some of our senators proposed an amendment to the Iowa Constitution through Senate Joint Resolution 2003, and this protects reproductive freedom in general. I see firsthand every single day the impact of pregnancy, childbearing, and family planning on Iowans. I see the challenging decisions that people have to make, but I also see the ongoing joy and the ongoing struggles. I know that patients and families are in the best position to make decisions about expanding their families, so I applaud them for introducing this.
I do too. Well, join us again as we continue our updates of the 2026 legislative session. Be well, Iowa.